right.
Let's go.
There we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, one and all, to Bullshit and Bourbon. So,
Nice. Your chat.
tonight we are going to be talking about the resurgence of medical plants and mushrooms and how they've been used throughout history for religious purposes, for medical purposes, and for many purposes. Anyway, let's roll right into it. I'll introduce everybody. We'll go around the horn. As always, we got Taylor. How you doing, Taylor? What you been up to?
Nothing much. I did my ketamine yesterday to give you a good story.
Nice.
Awesome.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How was that? Well, you know what? We'll get into that.
Yeah. I wrote the whole thing down. I wrote it for you. So
I know. You're fucking awesome at that.
Yeah, that story.
What else you been up to?
Just work. Complete boredom, which is no, just kidding. I actually like what I do. So just working and we went to a Buddhist temple today. That was my first time ever experiencing that.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
Yeah, it was like
Pretty cool.
we show up and I felt all weird because I've never been to one before, and they just we're starting our ceremony, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Like what do I do?
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea what to do, and so I was looking like an idiot the whole time, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Nicole Taylor is probably the person that I would say that I've met my whole life that has no mental health issues. I mean, zero.
Nope.
Like he's the most fucking even-keeled guy on the planet, other than maybe
never had an issue ever.
Because he's a lawyer, he blames everything on everybody else.
Never had. I have no idea when people talk about things like. I have no issues with anything.
No, but
Chat.
All right, Deucey, what's up? What you been up to?
What's good? Lately, I mean, shit. I just moved recently, so I've been trying to get settled in and all that. But setting up the living room, I've been modding a Wii for my friends, so that's fun. Playing
anybody that doesn't know, Deucey he hangs out in the chat. You know, all you in the chat, know his name. You know, he hangs out Blockchain Basement, and Deucey does crypto. You all know him, so this is the face to the name.
yeah. I guess this is a face reveal.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've been around for a bit. I was watching the morning streams and all of that, the Hit Network streams for a while, and then I decided to jump into the community, and it's been awesome since. Meeting lots of people, learning lots of things, and we all doing it together. That's the best part, right?
Honestly, that's my draw to it, is like that sense of community, where it's like, you haven't really met those people, but you can bond about crypto, about homesteading, about, this topic. I mean, that's where I met you. It's like, that's what's cool about the internet. It's like you're able to meet people you wouldn't never otherwise meet in your life.
Yeah.
But, all right, Gary, what you been up to, man?
Brother, I just tons of work. We're in mid-cycle, so we instruct basic leader course. We're towards the end of it. Graduation is next week, so I'm getting ready to one more cycle and 6 weeks off. Pretty excited.
Nice. Wait, you got any plans?
No. That sounds expensive.
No, that's the point.
No, the point is just to get to Taylor's level of I have no drama, I have no feelings, I have just happiness.
That's what. Excuse me. That's what life's all about, man.
Yeah,
that's the point of having 6 weeks off, is you can just forget about everything and live your life.
You're speaking my language. I did that as quick as I could. I've been doing it for 10 years now.
Yeah, shoot, man. You're what, 10 years ahead of me?
Yeah. I retired in 2015.
No, you're 12 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
You're 12 years ahead of me because you retired at 39. 13 years. I'll retire at 52.
Oh, bastard.
All 2 years left.
I have some time to go yet.
Yeah. All right. So pretty much all I've been up to is just getting ready for this episode, doing a lot of research, watching a lot of ancient aliens and ancient apocalypse, learning about the prehistories and stuff like that, the lost civilizations that use mushrooms. And yeah, just been doing that. Then I did some insulation in my basement. Got down in my crawl space, but since I built it myself, I can almost stand up down there, and it's all plastic lined, so it's like super chill. I can like sit down there and put a little couch if I wanted to. But so yeah, that's about all I've been up to.
Hey, so Mike, real quick, I know we did introductions, but we have a comment from KJM that says, "Wait, what? Who is who on the live stream?"
Oh
yeah,
who's
I
on the-
don't think they can see the names.
Yeah. I don't. This doesn't have the names. Hey, KJM, it's Deucey Does Crypto.
What's good?
All right, so let's jump in real quick. Let's do presentation here, and we'll just hit the market real quick as soon as it clicks over. Let me share my screen. All right, so crypto market today, Sunday, is actually starting to take off. I'm digging what I'm seeing. It's probably gone up. Oh, here I should probably close my holdings. So anyway, I really don't care. But yeah, I don't know why people are so secretive about it.
Yeah, I've never understood that.
I don't. But so no, the markets have been doing good. Like I've been loving. This is probably the most movement I've seen out of Casper since I started investing in it. But yeah, I have a lot. I got a lot of hope on this one, brother. But I earned too much. I earned 15% APY, and it's just
for now.
Like for the past couple of years, I've been earning it, and it's just like print money for me. So I'm like, there's other ones that I also have staked. I just love diversifying, but no, the markets are looking great. I'm really hoping that they're about to take off, and kind of all the indicators and all the people out there. That's what they're saying is that come the election, things are about to start hitting.
Let's hope.
We don't got Taylor. Are you still watching the markets or?
I don't watch it as much, but like I had to spend all week getting everything off KuCoin because I got this thing like, hey, we're not gonna work in America anymore. I'm like, oh my god. So I had to move it all off of KuCoin, and so now I have probably should put stuff on a wallet, but I just have everything in Coinbase right now.
Oh yeah, honestly, right now I would think it's pretty low risk. Coinbase, about to go into a bull market. Coinbase isn't going anywhere. About the worst thing is just when the markets, there's a lot of volume, and you go to try to buy or sell and it's down. That's about the only shitty thing about Coinbase. That's what
probably going to be a day, and it's going to be a day soon that they consider Coinbase too big to fail with them holding all these ETFs and all the everything else.
Right? No, it's definitely a thing. That's kind of the reason I actually invested in like the actual Coinbase stock. And I'm up pretty good on it. It's actually better than most of my cryptos. And then I invested in the Ripple IPO and, moved some of my XRP out of XRP and put it in the Ripple IPO just because no matter what, Ripple's going to do something. They're in bed with way too many, nations and, banks. And I mean, there's just way too much going on there for the company to fail. XRP can be debated, but not Ripple. All right. Well, let's just jump right into it. So, who wants to kick us off? I can either show a little bit of Reefer Madness. I got the old 1930s Reefer Madness clip that we can throw up. And
that one.
Get a laugh from the 30s. Yeah. Here we go. I'll play a little bit of it.
Soda fountain. Innocently they dance. Innocent of a new and
disappeared.
Yeah, what you got going on?
You guys hear it?
No, we can't even see it.
All right.
Tobacco my ass.
Yeah, let me. Here we go. Yep, share audio. All right. Let's try this again.
There we go.
But
In this film, you will see the ease with which this vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's yard, rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes, hidden in an innocent shoe or watch case. In this
Watch
startling
case.
film, you will see dopesters
No longer
lure
innocent.
children to destruction.
We're going over to Joe's place. Why don't you come along? We have a date to play a set of doubles. Oh, you can play anytime. Come on, we'll have some laughs. Can I go along with you? Sure. Hey, I'll see you at dinner, sis.
If you want a good smoke, try one of these.
You will meet Bill, who once took pride in his strong will as he takes the first step toward enslavement.
oh no.
Oh no!
Hey,
That reefer.
Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide.
Oh, it's the window. The horror.
And the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity.
Tweaking.
Anyway,
This looks like a lot
that
of
will give everybody an idea of
We're
the.
confusing this with meth.
Oh, dude, no, it's and I'll get into this was actually a propaganda piece. So those of you that aren't familiar, in the 30s, there was actually a movement because they were wanting the lumber companies were pissed off because of hemp plants and them the industry using hemp because it was more easily replaceable. Like, I mean, you can grow hemp fast as shit and make paper and a bunch of other products. The lumber company didn't like that. They couldn't compete. So instead of buying a bunch of hemp fields, they actually paid the government, paid different groups to come up with propaganda, coming up with all the evils of marijuana and all this, so that they could get it outlawed. So I think it was 1970, they actually drafted. Let me pull up my notes real quick. Yeah, 1970, the Controlled Substance Act actually made weed illegal. But like since then, the Health and Human Services has patented the potential use for non-psychoactive cannabinoids in marijuana. And so it's like there's this new push to start using, to start looking into the uses, because it was a Schedule I narcotic, so nobody, like even universities, couldn't do any kind of research on it. So it's just like there's nothing known about it, so that like everything is brand new, because no work has been done on it while we've had any kind of real technology. But anyway, so Ducey, tell us a little bit about your experience with mushrooms, because there's definitely been a big push recently for the use of with the PTSD and a lot of other things.
Hey, real quick before you do that though, to point out a comment here from C90FTW. It says Jeff's hair grew super fast.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's not Jeff. Yeah, no, Jeff isn't here tonight because he went to a White Guys for a Harris rally.
You lived up to your promise.
So in next week's episode is going to be how to come out to your friends and family as gay.
Jeff will be presenting.
Just jokes. I'm just doing the haters ball over here. Hey. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Ducey.
Yeah, psilocybin. The first time I had done mushrooms was with a buddy. We had thought about doing them for creative reasons because we were making music at the time. I used to produce music for him. He was an artist that I would record. And so it was mostly just a doing it with people thing. And then I rather enjoyed it. So I decided to do it Actually, no, it was months later. I'd found it on a website that I ordered my cannabis off of, and so I thought I'd try it. And so I started doing it by myself, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. It um, kind of helped me examine myself a little bit, teach me things about myself, and things that I don't like about myself, especially. It's sometimes they say that the bad trips are the better trips because the trip isn't done once you've come back from it. Like, it's not done after 8 hours. There's a huge reflection period that if you don't take advantage of, just kind of goes away. And that's the best part of it, is the coming out of it, examining yourself, and the different patterns that um, you can change your pattern of thinking, and that's incredibly valuable for mental health. Because depression, it's essentially a cycle of negative thought that you can't find your way out of. And so if you can literally change your neural pathways to have more better patterns, and it's really beneficial for that.
No,
Um,
I definitely get where you're coming from. Just it's important that if you are using it for that purpose to work through some things, or this is a legit use for
yeah,
psychedelics, for psilocybin, that they're studying currently. It's
yeah,
it works on PTSD, and it can't be denied. I mean, there is a lot of veterans that I know personally that were on cocktails of different medications for PTSD and depression, and they did mushrooms like once or twice, and since then they need no medications. They have better relationships with their kids and with their spouses, and I mean, they function. It's a night and day difference from
mhm,
simply taking a mushroom. It blows your mind. I mean, it
yeah,
really does. And I think you're right. The powerful part isn't the experience itself, but when you come out, and the clarity that it seems to give people, to where
yeah,
they can reflect, and they can, be critical, not in a negative way, of themselves, and find those things that maybe in day-to-day life we ignore, that we don't like about ourselves, that we can improve, and be honest with yourself, and actually work on those things and own them.
yeah,
Taylor.
yeah. That's the big part, is to be honest with yourself 100%, and
Yeah.
especially going into it. Like, you have to be honest with yourself upon why you're taking it. If you're doing it with people, that's not gonna, like, for fun, like you're doing it on a night out, that's not gonna help your mental health much, right?
No, I mean, you're gonna have fun and whatever, to each their own.
Hmm.
But yeah, if you're using it for mental health, it
Yeah,
100%. It needs to be treated like a medicine. You shouldn't be distracted with partying and other people around for the most part. I mean, really, it should be like, go to nature, find a very calm, peaceful place, and just make sure that you're in a good headspace. You do it, you have the experience, and you come out of it. There's nothing traumatic that's going to happen. There's nothing that's and it's just, it gives you the time and the peace to sort through it. Taylor.
Okay.
So I'd like to pose a question. So for those in the world that are not allowed to
Yes.
even even think about the possibility of this, we do the same thing, right? We have to question ourselves. We have to come to some sort of center of gravity to face our fears, face our emotions, face our problems,
Absolutely.
face our emotional struggles. And we don't have the option to exercise other options.
I know where you're coming from. Because I was
So,
there.
so my
I mean,
question is, in your historical experience, Obrizi specifically, beforehand versus now, what differences have you experienced, positive and negative?
As opposed to
Doing it by yourself versus
like your experience dealing with your afflictions before, pre-mushroom, and then taking mushrooms and dealing with them in that way. Like, what are the pros and cons of each? Like, what was the hurdles and the barriers when you were, kind of raw dogging it? And
well,
what are the,
I
what
I
are
was
the,
I was on antidepressants for 3 years, SSRIs specifically, and it was a very gradual transition up until the moment I did DMT, dimethyltryptamine.
I like it.
Those two experiences thoroughly.
maybe explain exactly what DMT is for people out there that might not know.
That's fair.
Um,
Yeah, 'cause
DMT.
I got my
Taylor.
laser here.
Actually,
For-
Taylor, go ahead. You're awfully quiet on this topic. I know you got shit to say.
Well, okay, so let me answer the question about. So I've done shrooms, ketamine, and different things, but meditation is by far the best when you learn how to meditate.
Bilateral beat.
Yeah, using HemiSync is a huge help in learning how to meditate. But I never, I always thought of people who meditated and like hippie people as weird, and I was just like, I'm just not into that. But
then he discovered aliens.
So I discovered aliens.
The machine. Machine.
Yeah. Well, I have crazy when I do shrooms or ketamine. I have crazy things that happen. Like I can't.
Yes, you do.
My first one was like I did shrooms. I was just closed my eyes, and then all of a sudden I like turned right into the back of my head, and like these tentacles came out and pulled me into my brain.
What the hell?
And I went into my brain, and my brain was like opening doors, and it was like, this is where this is, and this is where this is. And I'm just like, oh, wow.
You're getting a tour of your own brain?
Yeah, I was getting a tour of my own brain. And then all of a sudden, like we went and we opened this door, and it was like this fish creature. And he goes, that's your great grandfather. And then and I was like, okay. And then I went even further down, and then it was the moment where I felt I was completely like the mushroom was becoming conscious with me, and it was like this weird feeling. But like I have crazy trips when I go on these things, but I'll tell you, like my experience learning how to meditate, and it took a while. And if you will just sit and learn how to relax and close your eyes and clear your mind, you will find incredible benefits from that. And now I prefer that than going and doing shrooms or ketamine, even though it's fun for me. Like other people have weird experiences, but for me, it's always like this crazy psychedelic trip every single time.
Horrible.
So that my recommendation: learn how to meditate. It will be so beneficial.
I do it daily.
That's a huge part of it.
I do
It's
yoga
not going to help you
every
if you
morning,
drop it and watch TV.
and-
Yeah.
No, but Gary, have you ever? I mean, well, I'm not even going to ask you.
No, I'll answer the question. Go ahead. I know where you're going with this.
Have you done it before?
No, I have not. I have experienced being around people before the military, obviously, but I've experienced being around people while they're doing mushrooms or otherwise. And from the outside looking in, it just doesn't look like it's something that's interesting at all.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, listening to the stories of looking into your own brain and some damn thing is telling me that here's a door for this side of your brain. Some things I don't want to reflect on.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so if there's a thing that's going to tell me, hey, so your job is not the right path, and because this door over here says this is why, that's not something I want to experience. I want to experience my life right now while I'm serving and do it to the best of my ability.
Oh yeah.
Reach the end state goal. And if I reach to the point that I was a few years ago after retirement, if I reach to that point again, and of no return, really is where it ended up, and I feel like I have no other route, I might consider entertaining something like this for like a microdose, just to kind of see if it helps.
Well, and
And
honestly, I know a lot of people that have never taken enough to have a psychedelic trip, but they microdose, and there's no narcotic effects, noticeable anyway. It's not like you hallucinate at all or feel high, or there's no
right,
narcotic effect whatsoever. You just take a small enough dose to where it has what looks to be, and I want to start getting into that now. The medical, pros of what they're starting to discover psilocybin can do, and that ancient civilizations knew it could do. And basically, we'll go ahead.
but
Go ahead.
before you do that though,
Oh yeah,
I want to close my thought out with, it's not 100% necessary for everyone, right?
no, not at
I
all.
was able to get through a ton of shit, and I now feel like I don't need anything. Like
No,
I have amazing leadership. I have amazing
yeah,
people that I work with and work for me. The family's doing great, etc. Like the extended family across the nation, everybody's doing great. I don't feel like I need to search into anything to try and fix my mind at the moment.
well, let me put it
So
this
it's
way.
possible to get over it without other stuff.
Oh no, absolutely. But let me put it this way. It's just like a prescription medication. If you're using something as medicine, you should be using it for an affliction. If you have no issues, you shouldn't use any substances to deal with trauma or anything like that.
Right.
Now, if you've done all of those things, and the doctors have gotten to a point to where they're like, you need to be on medications, I would be open to think about trying other things. I mean, think of it as the Neuralink.
I know
Like
that's a whole
I'm
other
not
topic.
getting any computer chip implanted in my brain, but if I was paralyzed from the waist down, and they said the Neuralink is going to allow me to walk again, I might rethink that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I know
that's
it's a whole
kind of where
nother
the
topic
medicinal
about
aspect comes
dosing and
from.
remedies and stuff.
Recreation, on the other hand,
Yeah, it's a whole nother
that
topic
is
that we're going down. But
what's that?
it's a whole nother topic that we're about to go down, which I don't want to. Stay focused on what we're doing.
Yeah,
But you're right. There's a benefit to here's a prescription, here's a fix.
yeah,
It works. Work through your shit.
yeah.
Get off of the chemicals
Hmm.
and work through your shit.
Yeah.
So, and I'm interested to see how this goes. I may not have a whole lot to offer because I've never done it, but I'm interested to see how this goes, to see the results in really balancing meditation versus mushrooms, etc.
Yeah, no, this is definitely something you don't just want to go jumping in the deep end without floaties and you don't know how to swim.
Yeah, because then you end up
It's
having little fish opening your brains.
Hey, it was a friendly fish and it was our grandfather. I would appreciate you if you gave him the
Yes.
respect he deserved.
Yes. Yeah, when you start meeting different dimension beings, that's when it gets really weird.
And I want to get into that too. I want to make sure that we touch on the history of psilocybin and psychedelic, because honestly, before I really started doing research on this, I didn't realize how deeply ingrained that like medicinal plant. I mean, obviously medicinal plants and stuff, but the use of psychedelic mushrooms, they've found evidence, and I'm gonna start diving into it. And you know what? Let's just get going. So I clipped a couple of these just to show that it is an actual thing that's going on right now. They are doing very serious research into the use of mushrooms and psilocybin specifically to combat a whole array of psychological disorders. So yeah, it's they. Let's see here. Yeah, like they're talking about, they call it like rebooting your brain. So basically, kind of like a computer. A computer starts getting glitchy, and maybe like it's running slow, and those sorts of things. They always say reboot your computer, and that's kind of the way a lot of the people that I've talked to personally, and because I don't hang around a lot of super smart people. I mean, you can kind of see some of them here. I'm just kidding, but but no, it's sometimes it's hard to come up with the words for something like an experience like that you have on something like psychedelics. And
one doctor explained it like this. So basically, what the psilocybin is doing in your brain is your brain is a bunch of neural pathways, and he described it like skiing down a slope. He says, when a bunch of people keep skiing down, or you go through life, you keep thinking the exact same way and doing the exact same things. And he goes, what psilocybin does is it basically lays down a new, fresh, like thing of snow. So when you're going back through your behaviors, you can redirect and create new neural pathways.
So it's a powder day.
It's a powder day.
Nice.
Yeah. So like for me, my experience is like I did it more of like my life had just become so monotonous, and I was like, oh, okay, let me try something. I didn't have any mental health issues or anything like that. But for me, it was like, yeah, for me, it was like, oh, now I can finally, like, I started seeing things differently. That's
for you,
the best part.
You're a very curious person, Taylor.
Yes, like that's my biggest thing is like I kept hearing about it, and I'm like, well, I'll give it a shot to see what it was like. It is not addictive. I will tell you, shrooms are not something, when you do a trip, it is not something you go, oh, I want to go do that again like tomorrow. Like it is I could take a while before I ever do that again. Like it's a big commitment of mental journey that you're going to go on.
So I'm going to reach back to what O'Breezy was saying. When O'Breezy was saying, he was talking about it, and when he experienced it, it gave him the time, and I don't know how much time, but it sounds like quite a bit of time to really reflect on his life and decisions and emotions, and it was just one experience. It wasn't an everyday thing. It was a one experience, and it reset or reboot his brain to think in a different way. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it got me out of some bad habits I had. Like I drink probably 8 Diet Cokes a day.
Oh my God.
I know. Like you want to talk about a bad habit? Like I was consuming so much Diet Coke. It was like, I don't know what was in, like, but that was my drug of choice that I was using. But now, outside
of our previous conversation, do you have any idea what that's doing to your body?
Oh, I didn't understand until I got off of it. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh, it messes with your memory, like really bad.
I haven't drank a soda in years, probably like 4 or 5 years. I haven't drinking a soda. But Taylor, I actually, you are the one that can speak, well, pretty much everything more intelligently than I can, but religion, because those of you that don't know, Taylor was like the most devout Mormon that I've ever freaking known. Like all through high school as a kid, he never smoked, never drank. I don't even think he kissed a girl till he got married, and went on a church mission. It's just very disciplined, very focused. Just that type of person, very stoic. And then when I heard that he had done mushrooms, it blew my fucking mind. Yeah. I was just like, what? Like, you wouldn't swear. I remember I got you a DVD player for a wedding gift, and we tried to watch The Last Samurai, and you like kept doing dishes because you didn't watch rated R movies, but didn't want to tell me. And I'm just like, why aren't you watching the movie, dude? It's like, I don't watch rated R movies. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I mean, that's how disciplined you were in religion. And so to find out that you did mushrooms and to hear your experience with it and just like how it's opened your mind to, different ways of thinking, I find that highly interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to talk on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was part of my why I did shrooms was I went through basically a deconstructing of my faith that I had over a long period of time. And so I really struggled with trying to find an identity after, because religion creates an identity for you that you take upon yourself. And so after I had gone through about a 10-year kind of loss of belief in God and different things, I was like, well, I'm missing something in my life. And so that's when I was like, well, let me look at maybe trying this to see if I can get out of this rut that I'm in. And so I actually did it with a friend of mine he was an atheist, and we had completely different experiences our first time, which I had a very positive, wonderful, euphoric thing, and he was like going through hell. Like, and so he was, both of us came out of it very much like I kind of was reintroduced to a path that I could have a belief in a higher power, that there was something more. Because definitely my experience with doing shrooms was, okay, there's something more to this story than just the physical world that we live in. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it. And that's how I am now. I would say I don't know how I can explain it to you, but there is something more. And I was reopened to that possibility. Shroom-headed people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What you got up there?
this is kind of the or they're dickheads. So no, it's so throughout history, there's societies, and I'll show you the maps and stuff that I found. But these here are from, actually, let's go to here. We got Australia. So in the northern part of Australia, there is these figures that the Aboriginal people painted that are obviously, mushroom-headed people. And it's a reoccurring trend. So in India, you got mushrooms, in Indian, religious figures. You have, let's see, Mexico, or excuse me, Mesopotamia. You have, you can kind of see the wavy stems and then the mushrooms that they're holding. You have, this, it's kind of hard to see, but it's just a little sculpture, and then they're all, basically hands joined around this giant freaking mushroom. Little idols, again, mushrooms. And then the oldest that they found is in North Africa, in Tunisia. They actually found these cave paintings. Let's see. Sorry. So, yeah, they, what was it? It was 13,000 years ago, and they carbon dated some organic matter that was around the cave that they found them in.
I think it's the last JPEG you have there. I think it's your last JPEG there. No, not that one. Below it. No, there's there.
Yeah, this is it. Thanks. So, yeah, there's this figure that obviously has mushrooms coming out of everywhere. So either he has a bad fungus problem, has some job, or and it's it's just basically just this common thread. And they have them in Spain. They have also found these wall painting in Spain and in Siberia. All over North America, again in Mexico. So everywhere that you go around the globe, you're always seeing this reoccurring theme of mushrooms in ancient civilizations. There's even some that say that it could potentially be up to 20, 30,000 years ago because of some of the evidence that they found. Of course, there's ayahuasca down in South America, and it's basically a leaf mixed with a root, water, and a couple other ingredients. And it's another psychoactive substance that's used extensively in South American native cultures to speak with the gods. And actually, one of the Tinanacle, or I forget how to pronounce it, but this was down in South America, and this is what they called mushrooms, and it literally translates the flesh of the gods. So it's almost like a sacrament to them, almost like taking the sacrament at like a Catholic church or a Mormon church, taking the sacrament. They looked at it as taking the holy sacrament.
Well, can we hear about Ducey's his DMT stuff? I want to hear about this.
Please.
Yeah. So in particular, I was using. You can get it powdered or in vapes. They put it in vapes now. I want to try it again, but in the authentic way. It's very hard to get where you want to be with the vapes. Like they speak of like breaking through, and that's a phenomenon where there's a level of experience where you're there and you have this euphoria wash over you, and you see funny shapes and colors, and maybe little men. They call them, what is it, machine elves is what they call them. And then there's other, like, they call it breaking through. There's like a higher level where you have, well, it's a different experience every time for every person. It's people go on these journeys, and really it's an unraveling of positive atmospheres for your mental health. It's pretty cool experiences. I had
What is
only
DMT? For people out there that don't know, it's like, I've heard of it.
DMT
I know that
stands
you
for
oh, good.
dimethyltryptamine. It's a chemical found within a lot of plants, actually, and they've claimed to have found it in your brain. So apparently it's endogenous, which is pretty cool. It's actually one of the plants that you use to make ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is DMT and a MAOI, monoamine. Yeah, the inhibitor. So yeah, it's a natural chemical found in various plants, roots.
I know they found it in frogs. Isn't there like a frog that you can get it off?
There's a lot of confusion about that. So there's
Okay.
dimethyltryptamine and then 5-MeO dimethyltryptamine. They're very different chemicals. DMT is closer to psilocybin and psilocin than 5-MeO DMT is to DMT.
So that was what I think it was what Mike Tyson said that changed him. Was
those.
That was the.
Did you see that interview?
I'm scared to try it. Actually, it's demonic isn't the word, but it's very dark. Everyone who tries it feels like they're dying, but then they come out of it, and the coming back from their feeling of dying is the thing that they're looking for. It's interesting.
It's like I've heard it called like a rebirth.
Yeah.
No.
Come on, Gary.
And they always do it around water. It's always around lakes and rivers.
We'll do it. We'll wait till it gets dark up here at the cabin, and then we'll do DMT and run through the woods.
Gary, if you do it, I'll do it.
I've experienced shit like that without being on anything.
But to speak on my experiences personally, I guess I had come close to a breakthrough. I had two major, like, notable experiences. One, I laid out in my living room, got all the pillows and blankets and stuff so I could lay down comfy and not have to focus on anything in the real world while I enter it.
You have Teddy Grahams in a juice box?
The experience, I wish I could find my trip journal, because the further you are from the experience, the less you recall from it, which is why it's important to do like meditations and trip journals so that you retain that reflection. But
Hey,
sometimes it's
Taylor's
not always
huge on that.
as important because I don't reflect on the negative aspects anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, so for that experience, it was really interesting. I'd felt like um, a maternal energy wash over. It's very hard to explain, but like some second being or some maternal energy. Because I had stuff with uh, um, my mom growing up. She was into drugs and stuff, so that was a big thing for me growing up. And I had this like maternal energy wash over, and it was uh, it, it was hard to explain. And there's on top of it being hard to explain what I experienced, I don't exactly know what I experienced. It's hard to reflect on it. But the second one, most notable, was the one where I ended up throwing up. So I had to run to my bathroom and I'm around the toilet. And as I'm throwing up, it felt like I was throwing up my life force. And this is why I'm scared to do 5-MeO DMT because
Yeah.
it quite literally felt like I was dying. Like I was borderline choking on it. It was disgusting. But I came out of it, and it sounds weird, but I had this epiphany as though I didn't know before that I kind of like life. That was terrifying. I do not want to die. That was and examining that with having it being brought into your face, actually feeling as though you're dying and believing it with your 100%, it opens your eyes to a few things and you start looking at life with a different light. It was
I
very
actually,
impactful.
I've never drawn this parallel before. I want to share something. So what you just said, the only kind of addiction I've ever had has been adrenaline. So,
Mm,
I mean, I love backcountry skiing, rock climbing, skydiving, did it for 15 years. I mean, just anything I could do to get that adrenaline rush. And that was the reason. And that's the way you explained that is the way I explained, being in combat, different things like that. It seems like the closer you get to death, there's a love of life. Like those suicide victims, or not victims, but people that try to commit suicide, shoot themselves and end up surviving, and they're just happy to be alive. And like, I mean, they're messed up, but they're just like the instant I pulled that trigger, I never wanted to be more alive in my life. It's just those experiences of those people that the near death experiences. A lot of the people that do extreme sports, they're some
mm.
of the most alive people that you'll ever meet.
Did I
And I
tell you
think
guys
it's
about?
because. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Did I tell you about last week, or maybe I mentioned it about how I got into meditating, about getting on TikTok and that guy saying,
No, I don't
"Hey."
think.
So I was on TikTok one day, and I'm just scrolling through, and this guy goes, "Hey, you can talk to your higher self using this technique that the CIA created through the Gateway Project." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll give this a shot." So I'm laying in my bed. I'm doing this technique that this guy explains, and literally, I feel I came out of my body. Like I hear this loud rushing noise, and it was like this ripping sound, like Velcro ripping, and I'm coming up out of my body, and I'm looking around, and there's these dark beings around me, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I killed myself." That's really what I
I
thought.
meditated myself to death.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And I go, "Oh shit!" And then
Fucking Hare
immediately,
Krishna.
yeah, like I'm terrified, like scared out of my mind, and then I get sucked right back into my body, and I'm just sitting there, and I go, "What the fuck just happened?" Like it was
That's
just like,
incredible.
yeah, and
That
so like,
sounds like what it sounds like breaking through. That's what they describe.
So
yeah, I
like
did.
astral projection, is that what breaking through is? Is astral projection?
Well, yeah, that's literally what happened. Is like now I realize what happened was I was coming out of my body, which once you start diving into this stuff, you can do, and you can do through meditation. I haven't got good at it, but I can have it happen once in a while now through
Hey
meditation.
Taylor, Bad Fox wants to know the TikTok account that you found that.
I can't find it again. I can't get out. I'll tell you what he told to do. Is he said you got to lay down. You got to get to this state of complete relaxation. There's a moment right when you're about to fall asleep. The key is you have to keep your mind awake. Okay. So what happens is you're subconsciously, your mind goes to sleep, but you can put your body to sleep, but your mind awake.
Isn't that like active dreaming or lucid dreaming or something like that?
It's almost at that point. That's a different version. But at that point, you picture yourself basically coming out of your body, and think of yourself coming out of your body. You'll know if you've done it if you hear a loud rushing noise. Like if it's like it will terrify you. It feels like you're dying when you first experience it. I've had it happen about 4 or 5 more times through meditation. Each time it's very hard to get there. But like you can go read, there's tons of people's books about how you astral project and how you come out of your body. You can do it. Like it does actually work, but you have to, like, I'm not good at it. Like some people can just do it, but it is something that was like, oh my gosh, life-changing experience. But not until you said that, oh yeah, I felt like I was dying at that moment. That it clicked in my head that's what caused this massive change in me.
So Taylor, I wasn't laughing at you. If you can't see the comments, for fuck's sakes. T90FTW says, wait, I thought coming out was Jeff's thing.
I saw that too.
And I wanted to pick on him because he didn't show up.
Oh man, dude. I know. We didn't, because I wanted Jeff to come, because I went and did shrooms with Jeff. Fun guy to do shrooms with, just to tell you guys. And he was going to tell his pterodactyl story. Like he was
supposed to.
Yeah, he was outside, like just in the sun, like feeling the love of the sun, like hugging him. And he's like, I saw it coming right at me. And he goes, it was a pterodactyl. And he's like, oh shit. And like, and then you realize it was just a bird flying by.
I would pay money to be like sitting there watching him freak out, thinking a pterodactyl was swooping down on him. Jeff is so
one quick thing for Breezy. One of your questions was about medicine and who to talk to and a bit of research ability. Right? Does that sound about right?
I think I saw that comment and I was wanting to get back to it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was. So we have any suggestions about how to learn meditation? Okay, yeah. Not medication. I read it wrong. So Taylor, I'm going to let you field that.
The best thing you can learn how to do is it's really going to be going to the Monroe Institute. If you want to learn how to astral project, that's what they do. Robert Monroe was this guy in the 1950s. He's a very rich guy that he started coming out of his body and he didn't know what the hell was going on. He thought he was crazy. And he goes, I just had a really good therapist that said, hey, I heard Hindus can do this. Like yogis do this all the time. Keep going with it. So he kept going with it, started this institute called the Monroe Institute, which apparently what Robert Monroe was really good at was he was creating sounds to help people sleep. I think that probably was what was causing him to come out of his body was what is now known as the hemisync or binaural beats is what people call them. It's basically this, they put a certain frequency in one ear and another frequency in another ear. And basically it helps it so your brain just can meditate. And so I learned about that, went to the Monroe Institute. It is, if you want their full package, I mean, you can go get it offline for free, but all the thing is like $2,000 if you want the whole thing. But there's the $80 version, which is the basic thing that really what you have to learn is how to get to focus 10 and focus 12 is the real secret of what they're trying to teach you to do. But the really good thing that they have is their app. It's called the Expand app, where they have all the sounds and like you put it in. Like the hardest thing for me is I have like ADHD. Like someone says, sit and meditate. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like my mind is like off here, off there. It's like, yeah, exactly. But
Meditating squirrel.
for some reason,
Squirrel.
for some reason,
Council.
I can put these sounds in my ears and I can immediately focus. Almost like you're you know, when I was a kid, I was on Ritalin, but it like messed me up. And so but for a while I tried Adderall and I just didn't like it. But when I was on it, man, I could sit there and focus and get things done. But it's like you're on that, but for some reason these sounds just really help you just focus. So now I put it in and I get work done like crazy.
Well, and I'll tell you, Breezy, I mean, if you're looking for something just, more like to kind of dip your toe into just like relaxing your mind and calming your mind and, just kind of, kiddie pool meditation, I would just suggest just finding a quiet place, in the mornings or in the evenings or just, taking a quick, 10 minutes. Sit down.
And app right there.
Oh,
Michael,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about the red app because the red app looks like it's flipping me off.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's Auto Labs, but this is like the Expand app. Hopefully people can see it, but that's the Monroe Institute's app. Fantastic, like little tool. Like I highly recommend. I know it's like $80 a year. Best $80 you'll ever spend. I use it like 2 or 3 times a day.
Well, I mean, if you're just looking to get started, though, I would highly suggest just taking 10 minutes. It's the same thing with mushrooms. Not everything needs to be like full throttle. Start out with just finding some time. Find a quiet place, dark place, close your eyes, breathe into your nose, out through your mouth, just nice, relaxed, long, deep breaths, and just take a minute to reflect. Clear your mind and just give yourself a minute to reset. Anytime that you're feeling like anxiety or getting anxious or pissed off or whatever, whatever it is that is bugging you, do that. Go to the bathroom. Do it in there. But
have you heard
of course,
of the
bump it up if you need more. Then start looking into stuff like Taylor's talking about. That maybe that's something that you could explore. If you have deeper rooted things that you're dealing with.
Yeah, like
have you heard of it's the 4-second pattern breathing?
Yes, box breathing.
Yeah, the box breathing.
Yeah, it's a yoga
box
thing.
breathing. It helps tremendously for mental focus. Clearly I'm no doctor. Like, look at my head, but
yeah, that's it. That's because all the brains pushed the hair out.
Yeah. So the interesting thing that's going to happen when you start like meditating is someone started talking about vibrations. You will actually start to vibrate. Like I can vibrate now my body inside, and you can get to that point. It's very weird feel. I never knew like this is what they were talking about. Like you can do this kind of stuff with yourself, but you get this vibration in your body that you'll start to vibrate. And then that's when you really know you're breaking through in your meditation. Like you just have to just start doing it. Like Michael said, but the real key is to understand what meditation is it's an extreme relaxation where normally what you do in these moments is you go to bed, like you're going to sleep. There's another path you can go, which is your body will go to sleep, but your mind will stay awake. And that's that's what they at Monroe Institute, they call the Focus 10. It's what other people, yes. But that's the cool. That's where all of a sudden you really, really start having cool experiences. And you health-wise, like now I wake up at 4 every day. I can't sleep past 4. Like I go to bed at 10, I get up at 4 and
preach.
But like before
at 5:30.
I would do that, but then I'd be sleepy all day. And I just caffeinate myself throughout the day. But now I just found that, I just go meditate for 15 minutes and it re-energizes me for the next 4 or 5 hours.
So I know we're running out of time, but let me pose a question that none of us have the answer to. Why, if this is so successful and it's healthy in any way you can look at it, why are not first responders, police, prison workers, military, etc.? Why is this not a top priority without chemicals, without illicit drugs, illegal drugs? It's purely natural. Why has this not been pushed out?
Big pharma.
I'm not responding to that.
Yeah.
No, honestly, there's no money in it. If everybody could grow their own mushrooms and grow their own weed and grow their own medicines, you wouldn't have to buy their products. And there's no profit. And this is just my personal opinion, but there's
Right,
no
so-
profit in healing people. That's why
So-
most medications, they deal with symptoms, and then you take another medication to deal with the symptoms of that medication. And we'll get into that in one of our other episodes that we plan on having the doc on.
Yeah,
Gary,
we are.
has
And I understand the answer, and I knew that's what was going to come out. But
Yeah,
I'm alluding to the human factor, common sense. We want a strong force across the board: EMS, police, prison guards, border patrol, etc. If we want the strongest force in the world, why are we not focusing on the strongest remedies?
absolutely. No, and there's a rising. There's the volume is pumping. There are first responders and police officers and military that are starting to come out, and they're like, "This shit works."
And I'm
All the shit that you had us try before, all the
Yep.
medications and going to see doctors and all that stuff, it didn't work for shit. I lost my family. I fucking lost my life. Almost lost my life,
Almost.
and came back from it and rebuilt my life simply stopping what you had me doing. And I took a mushroom that grows in the fucking woods once, and I'm my old self again, and actually a little bit better. That's a powerful statement from somebody that comes back from the brink like that. One is a fluke. When you have thousands and tens of thousands that are sharing the same story, that's a powerful story.
Yeah, and the odd thing for me is like, I spent a significant portion of my life committed to a religion that was really intense, and I did everything they asked me. And in 1 month of meditating, I had more growth than 20 years of highly committed religious attendance. And I did everything. I'm not one of those people that say, "Oh, well, I was religious." No, I was religious. I read my scriptures an hour every day.
Dude, you didn't swear. You didn't watch rated R movies. You didn't have premarital sex. You had never drank. I mean, nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
I never masturbated. That's how strict I was.
Nobody wants to visualize that. What the heck?
No, I'm serious.
I lived everything to the T, exactly what they said, and I had no idea that, hey, there's this technique that you can use in meditating, and it will transform you faster than all of those rules. And I'm not saying those, like, I learned a lot of self-discipline from living like that. I learned like how to control yourself. I went very far in my life because I lived such a strict thing. I'm not saying those are bad things for people to do.
No.
I'm just saying spiritual growth, if you actually want to grow internally as a person, that really didn't happen. I learned how to muscle my way through, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
And developed a very good, strong core and mental, but like there's something else out there too, which, you can add to your life, which will greatly enhance you as a human being.
Absolutely. No, and that bad fox, you're absolutely right. Organized religion and spiritual growth, I don't think they can go together and they can be apart as well. Because for some people, and Taylor was just speaking on this, it's religion is a good thing for some people. Some people need that structure.
I needed it as a kid.
Yeah, and they need that support structure. They need like-minded people that they, hang out with, and they share common values, and their, kids play together. I grew up LDS and Catholic. I get it. It's just there is that, tribal kind of thing to it. But
let me tie in one of these comments real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Bad Fox, he's saying organized religion is so different than faith and connection with the God, and I think that's something that Taylor went through.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what I was just talking on, was that having a connection with a higher power, whatever that is. I won't pretend to know. I think that there's something. I'm agnostic. I'm like, there's no evidence that there is or there isn't a God, and whatever that God is, I have no clue. It could be a giant spaghetti monster for all I know. It's for real. It's like I have no clue what that is, and I don't think anybody does 100% if they're honest. But I would like to think that there's something after this. It's I personally, kind of, my closing thoughts are, I kind of go along with what Taylor was talking about with vibration and energy. I kind of think that, our soul is energy, and it's like, we're kind of in like this exoskeleton covered in meat, walking around. And when we die, that energy goes back to the universe and creates new life. And, it's just, kind of feeds the universe, and the universe is, God, universe is a being. I find that much more likely than a lot of other things I've heard. But again, I'm not saying I'm right. I could be 100% wrong, but that just makes sense to me. But Ducey, what do you got for closing?
Yeah, I mean, I never grew up that religious, right? I've been more of a non-theist, not atheist.
Are you a
I take
nihilist?
spiritualism. No.
I believe
I
in
take the
nothing.
spiritualism when it's presented, but growing up, I always considered it a book of fables. It's a lot of life lessons that are valuable, but you don't have to take it to your wars. Why? Like it's not that serious.
Yeah. No,
But
100%.
it's incredibly valuable nonetheless. So I'm not atheist myself. More non-theist.
You're agnostic. It sounds like me. It's like you don't adhere to any one. You have your ideas, but you're just open to whatever.
Yeah, whatever helps me get through my life.
So
The way I
Michael,
look at it, whatever it is, and it doesn't matter what I believe or think. It's like it's just.
Michael, I have my laser that I got. That dude says you can see the
code. You can look at it and see the matrix.
Yeah, have you guys seen that? Like, there's a guy that's on YouTube claiming that if you take DMT and you look into this laser light right here, you can see the matrix code. So I'm going to look into it, and I'm going to see. 'Cause I said this is what we were going to do on this podcast. I'm going to see if I can see the matrix code, because this is the exact laser he had. So I'm going to look, okay?
Are you on DMT currently?
No, I'm not.
But it's not going to help.
I don't see any code. No. I'm not saying. All right. I need to get. All right.
Taylor,
I need the DMT. Can you get me some?
So if I call your office tomorrow and ask for Mr. Anderson, are you going to answer? I'll show up in a black suit with Gary and Ducey. We'll reenact. Then you can just run through the hallways of your office. Like doing kung fu and shit.
Well, I ask you that you bring some DMT if you're going to show up. All right.
All right. Okay. I just gotta wait for crypto to hit so I can buy my little private jet that I can keep at the little airport by the cabin, and I can fly down there once a week.
Yeah. It's gonna happen one of these days. One of those things.
One of these days, that fucking
have goals.
jackpot called crypto is gonna pay off.
Yeah. Too bad you didn't buy into that. What is that? Godius Maximus? Is that the AI created?
Yeah, that
coin?
AI.
Yeah.
What was it? It was like 60,000% it went up or some shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
The first AI millionaire was made last week. It created its own crypto coin and then went on Twitter and hyped it and racked itself up. It's a fascinating story. I thought about that. I'm like, I've spent how many years and I don't even have $1 million in my investment account.
That kind of feeds into the dead internet theory, don't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be a bunch of bots and AI running the show, making all of our money.
Dude, I'm telling you, as soon as AI, Skynet's a thing. As soon as AI fucking gets loose, we're fucked. We're going to have iRobot. Tesla robots are going to be fucking making us their bitches. I mean, it's going to suck.
But Michael, it might have already happened because I had one guy. I was watching this podcast, and it was a clip from his podcast, but he's a super famous podcaster, and he was reading comments that were coming in, and he was like, wait, who is this person? And like, he goes in and looks at this person, and he's like, wait, he starts realizing like these people aren't real. Like, and then he goes to their web pages and different things, and he starts looking at every one of their pictures, and he notices in the background that the pictures that are on like the stands and different things, they're all fake. And he goes, these people, but they have like .gov addresses on their emails. And so he's like, how? He goes, they can't be fake because their email accounts from the government.
Yeah.
And then like at that moment, he's like, he starts to realize that he's chatting. Everybody in his chat are not people. They're AI generated government propaganda machines.
Yeah.
Getting him to make comments on his podcast.
Well, on everything. I mean, on Twitter and X and all that stuff. I swear half the accounts on there are bots. Just engagement bots. Just
Threads. Threads is terrible for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Instagram Threads, it's all bots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really a genius way. Like, you get on something and then all of a sudden you get all this interaction. You think you're famous, and it's all fake people.
Well, dude, I mean, I've started multiple online businesses, and that's the hardest thing is just getting traffic and engagement. That's why everybody
out there. We're trying to build something
doing kind of what we're doing. They're all just constantly trying. Hey, check out my channel. Hit like, hit share. That's why they all do it. If you could just put a bot on there that did it for you.
Well, why don't we start a social media site that all it is bots that engage you, so you feel like you're famous? You get like
people just bots engage.
Like you're all popular. Oh, look how famous I am.
like bot voyeurism. It'd be like what's that? OnlyFans, like a bot OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like maybe that's the best way to run a social media thing is like no real people follow each other. Everybody just tells you how wonderful you are.
Honestly, dude. I think once robotics gets to a point to where the robots are like believable to be humans, there's going to be such a fucking drop in like human interaction. I mean, look at what social media did.
Yeah.
The way that social media has kind of destroyed, actual human interaction, and how people, in positive and negative ways, just like I said, going on the internet, you're able to meet people, around the world that you wouldn't otherwise ever meet, friends, to network for business, love interests, whatever. There's with anything, there's positive and negatives. But anyway, for another time. Looks like we lost Deucey a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
That's all good. We're wrapping up. But next episode, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, but I think we're going to be talking about our foods and the poisons in our food and prescription medications. And just kind of, a little bit about, that's why I wanted to split this up and do this first. Right. Was I really want to talk about the generational impact of the chemicals that are in our foods, potentially vaccinations and prescription medications. And, what I think is the rise of, the mental health issue that we're currently dealing with in the U.S. So any closing statements before we go, gentlemen?
I don't.
I was hoping everybody was still on because I wanted to readdress real quick on his statement of he couldn't find his journal and he can't remember the reflections without the journal. So
Breezy's still here.
Oh, I don't see him.
Yeah, he's still here.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
All right, so
if you can't remember it without a journal, what's the point? If I can just meditate and have the same effect or increased effect without a journal,
it's to recall. Whenever you come into out of altered states like that, correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor. It's kind of like a dream. Like whenever you wake up and you had a dream, as soon as you wake up, it's like it's right there. you remember it all, and then it just
Yeah.
kind of fades.
Right.
It's the same thing with with coming out of these states. It's almost like coming out of a dream state, and if you can chronicle it and capture those details when they're still fresh in your mind, then it's easier to recall at a later date. Does that make sense?
It does. I don't know. It's I'm 50-50 on it. I don't think that, like, I'm listening to the meditation thing a lot. Like, I'm focused in on that because it doesn't include anything else except you, yourself, your soul, and your mind.
Well, and you can journal. When you start really getting into meditation, just like as soon as you come out of your meditation, jot down some of your immediate thoughts.
Right.
It's like what first comes to with a clear, relaxed mind. What is front of mind for you? If you come out of it and you're just like thinking about something at work, then it's like, all right, maybe that's your priority of work. That's the first thing that you need to work on.
But Greg,
you come out of it and you're like, you know what I said this morning to my wife, maybe I should apologize to her for that.
We're always wrong. We're always going to apologize.
But still, you're right. It's an example, but it's just like whatever is front of mind. Sometimes in the noise that's going on in our daily lives, it gets drowned out. And you don't
but Greg, I think
it was something that you said to somebody you care about. Maybe it's the way that you reacted to something.
Greg,
whatever it is, it's something that if you can jot it down, you can come back to it. And you be like, what, I had this issue before. What did I do last time? I remember it worked.
Right.
And it's something that you can go back to. I mean,
Greg,
is that?
I think what you're hitting right on the point, that if you can get into meditation, it takes a lot longer. It's a lot more commitment, but it's way better in the actual experiences of what you can get to. Whereas I think shrooms are a good way for people to break through if you're struggling to with something big and you can't meditate. Some people have ADHD. They just can't do it. They just can't sit down and focus. But if you can sit and focus, go to meditation and really learn how to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to have my son try that because his head is so big. There's so much ADHD wrapped up in there that
all the ADHD is trying to push its way out.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, big head. It's the size. It looks like an orange on a toothpick.
It does. Just kidding. It's not that big.
All right, gentlemen. I appreciate you, and Deucey, if you're listening out there, sorry that you dropped, but we'll see you in the virtual world.
It's all right. Hey, real quick, Breezy. He was thanking everybody. Great show. He's gonna work on his meditation and gonna try the Astro Project, whatever that is. I'll do my research. But just addressing, he said thanks to everybody.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Veteran Crypto out.
See you guys.
Bye.